1 month ago, Elon Musk shared a video from our channel. It started a hurricane of outrage over the Pakistani rape gangs which have terrorized and molested thousands of vulnerable girls in England. The case shows why the British now look to Americans to fix our justice system. Men of Pakistani origin are up to 4 times more likely to be reported to the police for child sexual grooming offences than the general population in England and Wales. But, like the Americans, the British are supposed to be colourblind. During the #MeToo craze, in their attempt to prove an alleged Western rape culture, the Crown Prosecution Service desperately searched for imaginary offences in order to meet a Stalinist target conviction rate of 63%. Yet, while false accusations proliferated on university campuses and a politician touching the knee of a female journalist became headline news, thousands of white working-class girls really were being targeted, groomed and raped by organised gangs of Pakistani men who considered them fair game and easy meat. Silence. Worse than silence, in fact, the authorities actively covered up the crimes by arresting the very people who told them where to look, and one of those people was the man in this video, Tommy Robinson.
Already should have been a revolution in this country over the rape and prostitution, torture and murder of our daughters in every town and city. Not just the fact that the Islamic gangs done it, but the fact that they knew about it, the fact that the police forces knew about it.
It was covered up.
They all let it happen. And they say it out loud. They let a generation of our daughters be kidnapped and raped, and they did not care. We are seen by them as cattle.
Terrified of associating rape culture with Islamic culture, the authorities looked everywhere except for where the real problem lies. So, who was going to come to the help of these poor little girls, some of them as young as just 11? Eventually, it took Elon Musk, an African American, to retweet Visegrad24, a European channel, to succeed in getting Americans interested in the story, and that is when things really started to change.
It required Elon Musk and a few other high counts in America to pick up on this and say, oh, hang on guys, what is it you've allowed to go on here?
Grooming gang scandal, mainly Pakistani Muslim
the systematic
men.
Sexual abuse of vulnerable young girls.
Rape gang scandal has now become a global scandal.
Ongoing media storm shows how important American free speech is to British democracy. The British Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, who used to be the director of the Crown Prosecution Service, now has to defend an incompetent, malevolent, racist, inquisitorial system which has totally obliterated trust in the British justice system. And it isn't going well for him.
Because those that are spreading lies and misinformation as far and as wide as possible, they're not interested in victims, they're interested in themselves. Those who are cheerleading Tommy Robinson, not interested in justice.
Musk shot back with prison for Starmer. Starmer's excuse for covering up the Islamic ideology behind these crimes is that it might prejudice a trial.
And that is why the law carefully restricts what can be said by anyone, not just me as Prime Minister, but anybody.
That this concern reveals his double standards. When people rise up in anger against rape gangs and government apathy, he has no problem in assuming the ideology of the rioters and those who fight back against his inquisition.
I won't shy away from calling it what it is. Far-right thuggery.
For Starmer to lecture anyone on due process or the integrity of the justice system is now so offensive to the victims of his own prosecution service that the British public are ready to tell him and the authorities which cooperate with him to go to hell. Tommy Robinson might be in contempt of court, but by cooperating with a political witch hunt, the courts themselves are in contempt of justice. Now then, can Britain reform itself from within? Yes. Mainstream politicians like Nigel Farage are speaking up, but they must cooperate with the political and legal system as it is and play within the rules, because you can't fight an election from a prison cell. So the mainstream resistance needs these folk heroes, these vigilantes who work outside the system to keep the conversation going, to continually challenge the politicization of the British justice system and to expose a bigoted, woke ideology which infects not just the UK but all the West and America. Together, we will restore justice and order. God bless America. God save the King.